Welcome to this week's Bible Topics discussion. We're glad you're with us today. Today we are discussing finding faith. So before we start, let's define faith. The secular definition is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. The Christian definition is a belief and trust in God based on evidence, but without total proof. That's interesting, isn't it? The Bible defines faith in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, which says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen."
Let's look at a few more verses. Romans chapter 4, verse 3 says, "What does Scripture say? Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness." It was not what Abraham believed, but who Abraham believed in. Abraham's confidence in God and his character was what counted. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6 says, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." Do you have confidence in God? Do you trust in his goodness? Faith is not blind, nor is it a mental ability. Faith is to have confidence in God and his character.
That's right. When we seek help from someone we can trust, our confidence in them naturally leads us to believe in what they have to say. So when we have confidence in God, we ought to believe his word and his promises. Finding faith means trusting God and trusting his word. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 3 says, "By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible." That verse really goes along with Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 that we read earlier.
Hebrews chapter 11 has a lot of examples of faith. Let's look at a few. Verse 4 talks about Abel's faith to bring God a better offering than Cain did. Verse 5 talks about Enoch being taken from this life and not experiencing death. Verse 7 talks about Noah's faith and his holy fear to build an ark to save his family. Verse 11 talks about the faith Sarah had to bear children even when she was past childbearing age. Verse 17 discusses Abraham's faith when God tested him and he offered Isaac as a sacrifice. Verses 23 through 29 talk of Moses and his faith. This chapter is full of examples of faith.
Right. Today, do we believe in God's promises? If we have confidence in God, we ought to have confidence in his word. In Matthew chapter 14, we can see a struggle with faith when Jesus tells his disciples to cross the Sea of Galilee while he was going to pray. The disciples run into a storm. After battling the storm for a long time, they see someone walking on the water. They mistake Jesus for a ghost until Jesus reassures them it is him. Peter, one of the disciples closest to Jesus, wants to walk on the water too. Jesus tells him to come. Peter, full of faith, gets out of the boat and begins to walk on the sea. At this point, the wind grows stronger and Peter loses his focus and his imagination and emotions take over. He begins to sink. He cries out to Jesus to save him. Jesus offers Peter a helping hand while saying, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?"
In today's world, we too are prone to similar struggles of faith. Sometimes our fears and emotions could get the better of our knowledge of God and his promises. Maybe we should have named this session Building Faith instead of Finding Faith.
Yep.
Well, that's it for this week. Please like, comment, and share. If you have questions or suggestions for future topics, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
See you next week. Be blessed.